Okay, let's do this. Algebraic expressions versus equations. Pretty important when it comes to the whole world of algebra. We're going to take this and kick it up about 10 notches, but we're going to keep it pretty basic today. So here's how these videos work. If there ever comes a point where I say stop, just hit the pause button, stop, because then I'm going to have you kind of work on something. Sometimes I may just tell you not to hit stop and just listen. You don't always have to copy as I'm talking, because I know sometimes when I'm feverishly trying to keep up with the teacher, I'm not listening. So just hit pause, go back, whatever, you'll figure it out. All right, algebraic expressions versus equations. There's really one simple definition to kind of differentiate the two. So an equation has what? It has an equal sign. If you see an equal sign, it's an equation. None of these that we're going to work on today are going to have equal signs, so they're not equations. They are algebraic expressions, okay? So here's what we're going to talk about. And then at the very end, I'm always going to try to do a word problem. I'm always going to try to bring some context to the actual work itself. Although we don't always have to have a word problem. I kind of consider sometimes let's just build skills, right? I call it kind of meat and potatoes. A lot of times we'll do a lot of these things, right? When my teacher put in letters into my math, I was like, oh, why are these letters in my math? And then I didn't quite get the purpose of it. And of course, my teachers used to say, it's going to be on the test, that's why. Well, okay, so that might be a good enough reason. It's going to be on the test. So, all right, here's what we're going to do. So this right here is called an algebraic expression. There's no equal sign. So we're going to break this down into just a few little definitions here. So when we talk about terms, terms are just chunks. Like how many chunks do you see? The chunks are separated by an operation sign, right? So this is subtraction, addition, addition, subtraction. So what we're going to do, now I need you to hit pause as soon as I give you the direction. You need to go find 3 different color highlighters, okay? So we're going to make our math pretty today. After we do this today and you feel you don't need to make your math pretty in order to get it right, you don't have to. But today you have to. So go get 3 or 4 different color highlighters. Hit pause, go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to count the chunks, okay? 1 chunk, 2 chunks, 3 chunks, 4 chunks, 5 chunks. So that means we have 5 terms. And the way that you would write them out is you just put a comma. Now here's the important part. You have to put the sign, okay? So that's a positive 5x. If you don't put a plus, we know it's a positive. That's 7, okay? And that's negative 8y, okay? That's it. 5 terms. That's what they're called, terms. You have a coefficient and you have a variable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now comes the fun part. Get your colors out. Like terms. It's the stuff that looks the same. So if something has an X and another thing has an X, they're like terms. Now, be careful when you highlight, so watch me first. So we find all the terms that have an X. Now, I'm going to put that in a box, okay? 9x. Now, you have to find anything else that has an X. Ooh, me. Watch. You have to put the plus in the box. I'll explain it in a second, okay? No more things that have an X, fine. Now, let's find the things that, this is the only one that has a Y. There's no other Ys, okay? All by himself. Reminds me of me in middle school. Okay, here's what we're going to do. In the box. Now, you have to do the negative sign. You have to do the negative sign because that's important. All right, and then the last one is these are called constants. They're numbers. They don't have any letters. So they are also like terms. Okay, I told you our math was going to be pretty. Okay, now we have to find the like terms, which means the ones that have the same colors. So we have positive 9x and positive 5x. Okay, so we have 9x and 5x. Okay, those are like terms. Okay, now what else? Ooh, negative 3 and positive 7. And then you have negative 3 and I'm not sure what that is. And positive 7. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. That looks like negative 3 1/3. Whatever. I'll edit that out later. I don't have the skill for that. Okay, now here comes the final part. So this expression has 5 terms. What we're going to do is we got to shorten this sucker up, okay? Now comes some math skill. The lesson that I'm doing today and the one that I'm going to build from this is going to assume that you already have positive, negative, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing skills. If you don't have that, I'm going to actually build some videos up on those pretty soon, so hang loose. But you still can watch it though. Okay, here we go. And simplest form. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the like terms, 9x positive 5. That's why you had to put the plus in the box. 9 plus 5 is 14, 14x. Okay, so 14x. You done, okay? We're kind of going to keep them in alphabetical order, but it doesn't really matter. Commutative property, right? Now, this dude is all by himself, okay? All you got to do is bring him down, minus 8y, okay? And then the constants we put at the end. Now comes our negative positive adding skills. Negative 3 plus 7. I'm going to do a cool video on showing you how to do it. But right now, I'm going to hope that you know it's plus 4. And always put your answers in some sort of box or a puffy cloud or whatever. Okay, so that's this. Really important. Okay, so let's do this next one. I'm actually not going to write out the terms. I'm just going to say out the terms. And I'm not going to write out the like terms. I'm going to color out the like terms. And we are going to put them into simplest form. Okay, very cool. Now, there's something up here that you didn't see for the other ones. You see an exponent. So this x has a 2, which is x squared. It's not the same as this because the powers have to match as well. They have to look the same. Okay, so we're going to start off with that 1. That's the only one. So get a color, and put that in the color. Make sure you have the minus. Okay, now we're going to do the x's by themselves. Positive 3x. Does positive 3x have a buddy? Sure does. Negative 2x. That's its buddy. Any more? No. Okay. Here's what's cool. How many numbers do you see without any variables? I see a positive 4. I see a negative 7. And I see a positive 3. Now, some of you might be watching this video going, I don't need all those colors. Well, good for you. But this is the way I teach it, and I think it looks kind of fun anyway. So, okay, so here's what we're going to do. Obviously, the terms we could have listed out: 4, negative x squared, 3x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 6 terms. How many terms do you think we're going to end up with? It's easy, just count the colors. We have a red, a green, and a blue. We're going to end up with 3. Okay, let's do the exponent first, and that one is pretty easy because it doesn't have any friends. Negative x squared, negative x squared. You done. Now let's do the x. Positive 3x minus 2x. All you have to do is look at the number. The number, it's called a coefficient, but just the number touching the letter. A variable, I know. Negative 3 minus 2. Well, 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, so when you get into algebra world, you don't need to write the 1x because there is just 1x. You could write the 1x. I don't care. But we're done with that. Okay, now we have to do the constant, the number at the end. Duh. Okay, 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 3, wipe out. That's 0. Do not write plus 0. Just don't write anything. And we are done. Okay. Combine like terms. All right, here's what we're going to do. You are going to hit pause in a second, and you're going to get your colors out. You got to do colors today. I don't want to do colors. Well, do colors anyways. And then next time you work on it, you don't have to do colors. You're going to do these 3. And now you're going to look up here and go, what? A variable is just like a thing that represents something. It doesn't matter if it's an X or an A or a B. That happens to be a football. That happens to be a baseball. That happens to be a basketball. It doesn't matter. It's just like a thing that stands for something. Okay, so what you're going to do, and I'm going to work these out quickly, but you're going to hit pause You're going to copy these down. You're going to get your colors out. Circle, 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 circle. Combine like terms. Then let's check and see if we have the same answer. If you're still not exactly sure how to do this, that's okay. Maybe you can watch me do one and then hit pause. You're looking at your computer, so you can do whatever you want. All right, here we go. Let's go x's plus 4x minus 1.5x. Okay, any more? Any more? No. Okay. Oh man, you put fractions in here. I did, but I also did sort of ones we can do in our head. So we should be okay. All right. It doesn't matter which you do first, but the way you're going to see these answers traditionally in alphabetical order, and then the constant, the number by itself, is always at the end. So let's do the x's first. 4x minus 1.5x. We can do that in our head. That's 2.5. Okay? 2.5x. Boink. Boink. Negative 1/2 y minus 2y. Well, we got to add these and keep the sign negative. So it's minus 2.5y. Okay, minus 2.5y. Now I'm doing this without a rope, a life vest. I'm not sure. So if I ever get some of these wrong and I don't see it till later, I'm not reshooting the whole video. I'll just tell you what teachers always say. I'm just making sure you're paying attention. So that's minus 7. Okay, minus 8. All right, there we go, there we go. Okay, here we go. Let's do two more. 1a squared, 4a squared. No more a squared. And let's do a's. Ah, it's me in middle school again. No friends. Loner. I don't want to talk about it. And, ooh, watch this. If they're touching, watch this. Here's something you can do. If they're touching, okay. All right, now, if you just are watching the show and you're kind of going, ooh, I get it. Well, now hit pause and combine like terms. Okay, a squared plus 4a squared. There's 5 of them. 5a squared. Loner. And finally, negative 2 plus 7, negative 2 plus 7, negative 2. Whoa, that was cool. I just kind of make these problems up, and I'm the world worst person at making up problems. I always end up in a corner that I kind of screwed up, but that was fun. 5, 5, 5. Okay, here we go, last one. 5 footballs, 5 footballs, footballs, football, football. Sorry, 49ers, you lost today. And the Raiders did not lose. It's because they had a bye. Otherwise, they would have. All right, here we go. Kings won the other night. Warriors have won twice, lost one. Kings play the Lakers tonight. Okay, and don't go anywhere. Oh man, I'm gonna need a fourth color. Pink. Okay, here we go. This is probably more than 10 minutes. Shoot. Sometimes I get a little wordy. Whatever. I got nowhere to go. Here we go. Let's do footballs first. It doesn't matter. Footballs, sure. How many footballs? 5. Okay. There are 5 footballs. And how many baseballs? Negative 3 minus 7. You gotta put that in the box. People cut it off. They cut it off. You have to put the sign in the box. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10 baseballs. Okay. Now these guys don't have any buddies, so you just go plus 4 basketballs. I don't know what that is. Plus 9. Voila. Combining like terms with algebraic expressions. Now, don't go anywhere. I know you're itching. I know you want to kind of stop, but don't. Because here's why. One word problem. Because people say, why do I gotta learn all this? Because someday you're gonna have a nursery and you're gonna sell Succulent planters, you're gonna get to know that I'm actually a really good artist. And annuals, like peonies. Is that a dog or a flower? Peonies, daffodils, annuals, flowers that look pretty. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I know word problems make people tune out, but don't tune out. Because this is why we're learning to do all this, because that way you'll know how to open up a nursery. $5 are what we sell these succulent little planters at. That's a pretty good deal, by the way. $3 is what we sell these annual planters at. And we want to add up how much money we make in 3 days of sales. So on Monday, we sold 7 succulents, 4 annuals. Oh, by the way, for a problem like this, and you're feverishly copying all this stuff down, do it before I start talking. Either hit pause, but here's also a strategy, and you have my permission. You don't always have to copy everything down that I'm saying. You can just listen, just watch. You can go, ooh, okay. Some people like to copy and keep up. But if you are gonna copy all this stuff, and right now you're drawing a flower, you're not listening. So just watch. Okay, and I want you to think about why I put -2 there. I spent a lot of time figuring out how to get a negative into this. My wife said, oh, you should do Halloween candy. And we spent like 10 minutes trying to come up with a problem. But anyhow, doesn't matter. Okay, stay with me. We sold 7 succulent planters on Monday. So S, we're going to use S for succulents. So 7S. And then on Tuesday, we sold 5S. Oh no, on Wednesday, -2S. What that means is 2 people brought them back. They killed them. I don't know how you kill succulents that quickly, but they did. Okay, so now we're going to do annuals. Okay, plus 4A plus 8A plus 1A. So you get what we got here? 7 succulents plus 5 succulents. 2 people took them back. Plus, okay, now here's what we could do to figure out how much money we're going to make. Ready? Here's the whole point of this. It took me however many minutes this video is to get to the point. We can plug in that 5 for succulents 3 times. Oh, who has time for that? We can plug in that $3 for annuals 3 times. Oh, who has time for that? Not me. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 6 terms and we're going to 2 terms. Okay, let's add up the S's. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 plus -2 is 10. So we sold 10 of these, or that's how much money we're going to get for succulents. And then 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. 13. Now, this is all we've done in this lesson up to this point. I'm going to give you a bonus question. Now that we figured out how many we have sold, how do we figure out how much money we make? Plug it in, plug it in. So, succulents, how much do we make every time we sell a succulent? That's $5. So, 10 times, oh gosh, my pens are going crazy. 10 times 5 plus 13 times 3. Oh man, I don't have a calculator. I hope I can figure this out. 10 times 5, 10 times 5 is 50. 50. 13 times 3 is 39. You add it together. I told you. Running a nursery is pretty profitable. $89 is how much you're going to make. Okay, I went a little fast on that last part, and I hope that all adds up. If it doesn't, put it in the comments section at the bottom. I've watched 800 videos, and that's what people say. This is the first time I've ever made one. Put it in the comment section on the bottom. Okay, hopefully I get to make a few more of these. That went longer than I thought. I think I got to make sure not to speak or go as long next time. But that was fun, though. Hope you guys come back for the second one.